Homophobia. When you break the word apart, homo, the prefix, means same, while the root of phobia means an irrational fear. But when you put those two words together, you don't get the irrational fear of gay people. You get the disdain and hatred of gay people. This has always perplexed me because we have words like misandry, that's the hatred of men. Miso means hatred. Ander means men. Misandry is the hatred of men. Misogyny. Miso means hatred. Gin means women. Misogyny is the hatred of women. But miso's nowhere to be seen. It's homophobia. Why is that? People like to joke about it all the time when they're accused of being homophobic. They say, well, I'm not scared of gay people. And then you have some idiot that simply screenshots Google and says, actually, it means the intense disdain or hatred of gay people. But this is actually a little rabbit hole in itself. Because let's genuinely ask the question, why is it called a phobia? Why don't we address it as any other hatred, like the hatred of men or women? Why do we see a clear pattern that is clearly broken when it comes to homophobia? Well, when you look at the origins of the word, it comes from George Weinberg, who has a very funny name to say the least, who suggested that those who harbor prejudice against homosexuals are suffering from a psychological malady, an irrational state of the mind. And this is incredibly dangerous, because what happens when you find somebody who is mentally unstable? They are currently in an irrational state of mind, and they have this malady. What do you do with those people? In many instances, you can forcibly lock them up against their will. Because here's the power that comes with labeling things as mental disorders or mental illnesses. When it comes to law, you can lock up certain individuals against their will because they're mentally ill. They have a mental disorder. And not only can you lock them up against their will, you can also excuse certain behavior under the pretext that it was caused by a mental disorder. He's not evil, he's not malicious, he's simply disturbed. He's simply unwell. There is a lot of power when it comes to language, when it comes to labels. And in this instance, we can see that clearly the etymology of the word makes no logical sense. It's not natural. There was a clear agenda behind the creation of this word, and that was to label certain people that you disagree with as having a psychological malady. And here's the thing, language can change over time. It can naturally evolve and words have new meanings, but what's currently happening today, especially with words like sexist or racist, is that they're being changed artificially from top to bottom. It's not something that's simply happening with people over time. This is coming from an academic level where they're trying to artificially change definitions, words that have strong impacts in our society, like racist or sexist, and changing the meaning of them to weaponize them. Now all of a sudden, when you have a word such as racist, whenever you use that word, you think of a person who treats another individual unfairly because of their race, not because of anything they did or because of their character, simply because of the color of their skin. But now they're taking that word and forcibly, artificially changing it to mean something else. Now it no longer has to do with simply your actions, but in order to be racist now, it's prejudice plus power, meaning certain groups are automatically racist and others cannot be racist. This is class warfare, a direct attack on people. Now look, these are actually interesting things. I think there's a bit of truth to them. For example, when it comes to systemic racism, if you have a group of people who have power within a society and they are using that against a different race, that's distinctly different from individuals being racist towards each other. The problem is, though, they're forcibly removing the meaning of that word to exemplify and excuse certain behavior against specific groups while automatically vilifying others. That is a weapon, and that is something that needs to be actively fought against, because that is a direct attack against innocent people, even children that did nothing wrong. Now all of a sudden you have a group that can't do anything wrong, and another that can't do anything right. And again, I'm not against the evolution of language. Language changes all the time. It happens, it's natural. The problem is, this is artificial. There is an agenda behind this. And look, you can explore certain concepts, have words to express what you mean, but you're not allowed to artificially change language with an agenda to weaponize it against people, especially innocent people and children. That is wrong. And that is exactly what the left is doing against us. We have to call this out for what it is. This is not natural. This is political. This is a direct attack against people. So when people try and bring up these changes in definitions when it comes to racism, sexism, or even the usage of the word homophobia, just know what is actually happening, whether they're conscious of it or not. This is what they're trying to do. This is why it makes no sense. Anyways, that's it for this video, a shorter video, but I think one that's very important. I really hope it helps you. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy some of my other videos. Anyways, have a good one.